Well, what do you guys think? Should we stay a little bit longer here in Nashville? I think so. Mississippi State is advancing in the SEC tournament to the semifinals for the first time since 2010, and they do it by beating the SEC champions, Tennessee, in just incredible fashion. The way they were able to come out and handle the Volunteers in this ball game. And this is the only team in the SEC this season that Tennessee did not beat. Mississippi State 2-0 against Tennessee, the only team in the SEC that can say that. And how about Christopher Paul Jans, who has delivered Mississippi State now 3 wins against top 10 teams. I know Auburn is 12th, but that was a top 10 win at the time, and that's probably going to be a team by the end of the year that could be a top 10 team, especially about what they did against South Carolina. I think Auburn is definitely a top 10 team. So right now you're sitting here with 3 top 10 teams virtually, or 3 top 10 wins, and 2 of them coming against a Tennessee team that's really good. And the Bulldogs just dominated this thing from start to finish. In true Mississippi State fan fashion, the entire game, people are saying what's about to happen. You know, like something bad is about to happen for Mississippi State to allow this thing to spiral out of control. Tennessee is going to get control of the ball game. They're going to come back. I thought that a couple of times in the game until under 10 minutes, and I really felt like Mississippi State had it, even when Tennessee was able to go on a run. This was a similar game in a lot of ways to what we saw in Starkville, but the second half was different for Mississippi State. They were much more effective in the second half than they were against Tennessee in that win in Starkville way back in January or whenever it was. The Bulldogs dominated the first half in a fashion that I don't know if we've seen this year from this team. 38-19 Mississippi State in that first half, and it was a suffocating defensive performance from the Bulldogs against Dalton Knecht. I mean, I can't say enough about the job DJ Jeffries did on Dalton Knecht. The two guys that have, I don't know if you can call them unsung heroes at this point because Mississippi State fans know about them and just about everybody knows about Cam Matthews, but Cam Matthews and DJ Jeffries are your glue guys on this team. They do so many things well that you just don't really see in the stat sheet sometimes. But Cam Matthews is starting to do things now that are popping off the stat sheet. 18 points, 7-7 shooting, was 4 or 5 in the free throw line, which might have been the most impressive thing he did all day. 8 rebounds for him. Cam was just unbelievable in this game, and you don't win without him, which has been the case many times this year. And then DJ Jeffries with 8 points, but 5 of those came when the game was kind of not really hanging in the balance, but Tennessee was trying to get back in it. He scored 5 straight points to put the game away, pretty much, and only shot 5 times. I mean, he's not a guy that's looking to score all the time, but he will take advantage, and that's what he did in this game. And I thought he did something similar against Auburn earlier this year when Mississippi State won that game. Was picking and choosing and did a really good job there. But 7 rebounds, and then the defensive job he did on Dalton Knecht, I mean, was just absolutely eating up Knecht on the defensive end. 14 points for Dalton Knecht, so just about got his points, but 4 of those came from the free throw line, and he was 4 of 17 from the field. I mean, he was absolutely clamped by DJ Jeffries in this game. 2 of 9 from 3, just was never a factor. He never was. He scored 7 points relatively early in the second half, and then didn't do much of anything the rest of the way. He had 5 points in the first half. Unbelievable job. Zakai Ziegler, he hit 3 3-pointers late in the ball game and ends up getting 20 points in the game. But I thought Josh Hubbard did a good job on him, and Rams Davis too in the backcourt. Just a fantastic job by Mississippi State in this game, and it started on the defensive end. It was another game that Tolu Smith kind of struggled a little bit, 8 points and 5 rebounds, but Jimmy Bell gave him 16 big minutes off the bench with 8 points. And then we saw what Cam Matthews was able to do. Josh Hubbard, 18 points, 5 of 14, but hit all 5 of his free throws. State 17 of 22 from the line. That shouldn't be lost on anybody. This team's starting to shoot the free throws much better. 55% from the field, which was crazy. And then you held Tennessee to 31%. Dominated in the paint, 42-14. That might be the most dominant game we've seen from Mississippi State in the paint this year. It was just a game that was, from a game plan perspective, executed to perfection. This was just an incredible job, incredible coaching job by Chris Jans, who the last 2 ball games has really coached a really good product, especially dating back to the second half of the LSU game. The last 3 halves for Mississippi State have been fantastic. State, in that first meeting against Tennessee, I'm scatterbrained a lot. That first meeting against Tennessee, they're up 35-22 at the half. And I remember tweeting after halftime that Tennessee was going to give them their best shot in the second half. We had seen it the previous year. State had really clamped them down in the first half, and Tennessee came out and scored 45, 50 points in the second half. And they did the same exact thing in that ball game against State. Luckily, the Bulldogs were scoring pretty well too, and they ended up holding on late. But Tennessee had gotten back in that ball game relatively early in the second half. They scored 50 points in the second half, and it was a dogfight the rest of the way. This one, Tennessee does outscore Mississippi State, and they scored 37. You knew they were going to get some points there late in the second half. But State had 35. They only outscored them by 2 points in the second half. So State never allowed them to get back in this game. That was what's so impressive about this. There were 2 runs by Tennessee there in the latter stages of the ball game, last 5-10 minutes. Or actually, it was early in the second half. They got the first run. They went on a 9-2 run right out of the halftime. And State answered with a 3-pointer from Josh Hubbard. They went on a 7-0 run, pushed it right back out. 5 minutes left. It's down to 12 points for the second time. Kai Ziegler starts getting hot. 10-0 run from Tennessee. State did not fold there. You get a big 3-pointer from DJ Jeffries. You get a breakaway layup for 5 straight points, and the game was over. That, to me, was critical for Mississippi State to put an end to those 2 runs and push the lead right back out. They got it out to 22 after it got down to 12 the first time. Then they got it back out to 19, 20 points there in the last 5 minutes, and they held on. I mean, this, as much worry as there was from this fan base and even from some of us on press row just waiting for something bad to happen, this was never a game after about the 14-minute mark of the first half. Mississippi State was in full control, and that's what was so impressive about this, to beat a team like Tennessee that has the SEC Player of the Year, that has a future potential Hall of Fame coach in Rick Barnes, that has the Defensive Player of the Year in Kai Ziegler. To beat them down like this was a statement win for Mississippi State. First of all, they're no longer anywhere close to the bubble. We believed they were going to be in anyway after winning that game against LSU. But this one is, you're not playing for seeding now if you're Mississippi State. You win a game against Auburn, you're playing for a potential 7 seed at that point. Mississippi State has really improved their stock in just 2 ball games here. And it's not going to be hurt at all here in the next couple of days, no matter who they play, because they're going to play Auburn on Saturday. And if they win that, probably playing either Kentucky or Alabama, who are 2 top 20 net teams. Mississippi State has been super impressive against one of the toughest schedules in the country when you think about, just what they've done dating back to non-conference play. You even talk about the non-conference games they've played, a top 25 Washington State team, a Northwestern team that has been impressive. North Texas has now moved into a quad 2 win for Mississippi State. So the Bulldogs have gotten some impressive wins in non-conference play. And in SEC play, this has been one of the toughest schedules I've ever seen for Mississippi State. When you look at the quad 1 games that they've played this year, the teams that they had to play twice, the teams they had to play on the road, this was a very difficult schedule. Mississippi State's won 10 SEC games, and 3 of them have come against top 15 opponents, or top 12 opponents now, with Auburn and Tennessee. And you were in position against Kentucky, South Carolina, and Alabama. I know you didn't win those, but it just shows you how weathered this team is. This is going to be a nightmare of a team to play in the NCAA tournament, and especially if they got guys like Rams Davis and Josh Hubbard and those guys hitting shots. You're talking about a situation where you don't want to see this team at all. So this is a team that's playing great basketball, and we'll see if they're able to do it again on Saturday, 12 noon, Mississippi State and Auburn. This is a rubber match. Mississippi State has a chance here to win the the series, I guess, against Auburn in the 3 games that they get. So this is a really big day for Mississippi State on Saturday. We'll see if they're able to stay hot. If they're not, it really, it doesn't hurt Mississippi State either way. I think they probably played themselves into the 8-9 matchup. That's what it feels like. I don't think this is a 10 seed. I think this is an 8-9 team, which, it kind of sucks. I mean, you're matched up with a 1 seed in round 2, but you're just happy to be in the NCAA tournament at this point, and we'll see what happens with that. So, huge win, 73-56, Mississippi State over Tennessee, and Auburn coming up on Saturday. We'll have a full recap once again from there. We got stuff popping up left and right on 3 right now on Maroon and White Daily, kind of recapping the game. Got some other things to talk about on there as well. And then Tanner Marler's covering the baseball series back home. I think Mississippi State's out to a good start against LSU, so you guys can follow that. Got a game thread up. He'll have some coverage of that too post-game, so make sure you're checking that out. And make sure you are subscribed to this YouTube channel. We've had some good coverage of the SEC tournament already on this YouTube channel, so you guys can stay tuned for more of that information coming for you tomorrow. And hopefully we're talking about another Mississippi State win and a team that could be playing for the SEC championship. We'll see what happens. But other than that, hope you guys have a great Friday night, and we'll catch you on Saturday down the road somewhere.